But the championship contenders, Matt, are 1 and 2, Mustang and Camaro. Well, these new cars we bring into the category, still the classic brands and classic models at the front of the field.
Bressington, who's finished second on 4 occasions so far in the Painter-Dixon Touring Car Masters, joins the man who leads the series, the reigning Touring Car Masters champion, Stephen Johnson, with a fair bit of wheel shake at the front. Let him loose in the final race. They fan out straight away. Conditions absolutely ideal as they charge down to turn number 1. Look at Ryle Harris up to second position. Bressington thinks about the move on the inside, but slots back into third position. And of John Boward, Bruce Williams, who just squirms the AC Delco Tirana through Doohan Corner. Bruce
Williams yesterday involved in a crash, stuck at turn 10 and finished 5th. Remarkable drive for the AC Delco Tirana. Had a really good day. It looked like it wasn't going to be a great one at the start of race 2 yesterday. Everyone through the southern loop nicely. There's Jeremy Gray, the Bilstein Capri. Paul Freestone going down the inside. Harris defends. Bressington, who backed out of it at turn 1. Discretion the better part of valor for him there, which was a smart move that allowed the Queenslander to get up to second place. A little bit of breathing room out in front for Johnson. Camaro's next. Bow looking up the inside of Bressington for third.
And there's the two of Jeff Emery, who got the penalty yesterday, going side by side. A little bit of contact with Cam Rayson and Novocastrian in car number 3. They'll stay side by side now underneath the big bridge. And through the high-speed sweeper, somebody has to back out of it. No, he doesn't. He stays on the outside. And off the track goes Cam Tilley now.
He holds on to it, though. The big Valiant Pacer stays on the bitumen. Running just inside the top 10, it should be said, for the big V8 powered Chrysler. It's got Cameron Mason, who had a very good day yesterday in car number 3. They've got a new Mustang under construction, aiming for a Winton debut of that car. Big battle pack bottled up behind our Belgian, the big Ford Mercury.
There he is with Gray right on the back. There's Mason. The two Camerons go at it onto the Gardner Straight. Johnson leads lap number 1 here. Bow all over the back of Harris, who's thinking about the same on Bressington, and Bow might just get third position, and he does.
Bit of an aero assist there perhaps for Bow, just to get in the toe of Bressington, and both gobble up Ryle Harris on the run into turn 1. So Harris goes from second to 4th, Bressington back up to P2. 1.3 seconds the margin for Johnson. This is busy. Al Belgian in the thick of it. They're 3 wide through the southern loop. Cameron Tilley's on the outside, hung out to dry in the mess, and it's hands in the air for Jim Policina going, what's going on? All busy. Jeff Emery, the sister car, going really slowly through turn 3. They all managed to clear him somehow. That was hairy.
What's the old saying? To not overtake turning vehicle. As it applies to the back of that 97 Comet. The length of a semi-trailer down to southern loop. Guy Gibbons and HQ Monaro in the mix there, down the field now. A couple of drivers have dropped out of sequence here. As we go watching Hansford here. Peter Burnett, former V8 Utes racers, now mixing it up here in the Painter-Dixon Touring Car Masters. And here is the charge for Tom Randall.
Sinks, Matt. He sinks in a lap and a half from the back of the field. Bruce Williams, his next target. He could get to second. He's got enough speed. He's got good tyres. He's had less laps than everyone else, so he looked after the rubber over the course of the weekend. It's sort of a slight compensation, I suppose, for having technical issues. Bressington's the fastest guy on the racetrack at the moment, but he's off the racetrack at turn 12. Very, very wide, and that will open him up to attack from John Bow, the 5-time champion of Painter-Dixon Touring Car Masters, trying to go left, trying to go right. Ultimately slots in behind the 69 Camaro.
Good recovery from Bressington. He parked it right down the middle and made Bow work for it. He'll live another fight another day in the southern loop. Let's take a look at a replay of the start between Bressington. It's up with that wheel shake. We've seen that a couple of times for Johnson. It hasn't hindered him. His gap is 2.6 seconds. Good jump for him and for Harris as well. He was quickly up to second.
Thought for a moment Bressington was going to do the old dive bomb there and decided to back out of it, which was a nice move. This was Jim Policina, who was caught up in the back of the field, going past Bob Middleton.
And that was Randall just ahead as well on the left. Sky Sands entry. Gray just ahead. Burnett to the left-hand side. Very similar. That's the ex-Hansford car from last year. Well, they debuted a new Tirana. Very weird saying, debuted a new Tirana. For Peters Motorsport, there is the Lighthouse Hotel entry on the left-hand side.
Well, there's the new Capri just in front. Tom Randall already with a few spots and just trying to make it 3 wide. And this was that moment where Jeff Emery was going slowly on the run down to 3, and Alan Balgin, that Mercury Comet as wide as it is long, just threading the eye of the needle there. And how's this move from the outside for Pollicina?
Push the pass button on the steering wheel perhaps, and watch the Comet just come across and just move over. Oops, just a bit rough going. I know you're 17 metres long, but hello.
I love the frustration and the hand gesture off the steering. It's like anyone else is going to see that. It's just a little personal frustration venting for Jim Pollicina. And that was Jeff Emery going to the back of the pits. Now, this was that moment we picked up on Bressington. He got out in the shale, in the rubber on the exit of turn 12, slid the thing right out over the exit curve, but managed to hold on to it. Good bit of driving.
Some serious saves this week. And here's another one happening for Burnett across the top and almost getting the big HQ Monaro on the way down at Southern Loop. And it continues on here with Gray and Cameron Mason. These guys battling for 7th and 8th position. So we work lap 4 of 10, the final race. Round number 2 of the Painted Dixon Touring Car Masters here at Phillip Island today.
That line from that movie, Are You Not Entertained? Terrific racing. Let's jump on board with the Capri. Short wheelbase little car, really pointy, darts itself into the corners. Get the feeling this thing's going to be really good. The next round of the championship at Winton. Meanwhile, Hansford backing it into turn 4, gets up the inside of the Mocom Tirana of Pollicina. This battle's not done yet either. Mason, the Mustang, moves forward. His dad, a former champion of this category, the inaugural champion of Painted Dixon Touring Car Masters. Wheel to wheel, coming up to the hay shed. Jeremy Gray just backs out of it.
He's got the speed around here. He's going to try the outside. We saw this yesterday in race number 2. And slots back in behind. Cameron Mason to the top. Bressington on target here to set the fastest lap of the race so far. This will bring the other 2 Tiranas into the mix now. Hansford and Jim Pollicina also in the mix inside that top 10. So coming around to complete the halfway lap of this final race. Back inside with a 67, and now the door opens up enough. Ambitious to do it here. He's just going to hang in there. Has to back out the last moment.
That was close. Really close, but they got away with it. And that was a great lap of motor racing between these two. Respect given. There's the over under the natural flow of the circuit and where they were positioning their cars. Beautiful to watch.
Always love watching cars from in-car, that final shot, to see the way they dance around onto the main straight here at Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. Back to 2nd and 3rd now. These guys 2.5 seconds behind Johnson. It's on now again to bring in Jim Pollicina. In car with a Tirana, trying to force the door open on Jeremy Gray.
He hit him. Quite a big hit too. Contact on the exit of the Southern Loop. And that's just allowed Mason to pull away a smidgen in the 68 Mustang. And there's some damage behind. That's Paul Freestone. Front of the nose clip on the 69 Camaro's departed ways. Race control will just keep an eye on that. And off goes Gary O'Brien in the HQ GTS 4-door Monaro. Off in the gravel trap. Hopefully that's far enough out of harm's way that we can keep this amazing race going. This is the battle for 8th, 9th and 10th place.
Yeah, more than a touch. Decent rub on the exit of Southern Loop. That was in car with Jim Pollicina. Jeremy Gray ahead. He said O'Brien in the gravel trap in the background. Here's the look. The safety car has been called for that incident. It's just in the gravel trap enough that we need to slow this race down. How busy was Gray there? Wow. Yeah. Second time off the wheel.
Yeah, more non-verbal communications from these drivers. Gee, that's a big off. Gary O'Brien at high speed down at the Southern Loop. Well buried. Need a vacuum cleaner to remove all the gravel from that one for a couple of hours this afternoon.
You'll probably still find that at Winton when he takes the car out for practice. Car number 8 in the gravel. See how strong the wind conditions out there in the background. Huge tailwind going down through Dewan Corner right now. We had no wind on Friday and Saturday, but today very gusty winds. It's the Clay Pro number 8, the Bendigo Retro Muscle Cars team car sitting in the gravel. And this race slows down on lap 6 with Johnson, Bressington, Bow. Tom Randall is in 4th position. Ryle Harris is 5th. Bruce Williams now 6th. And Hansford, Mason, Pollicina and Jeremy Gray, your top 10.
What the Vodafone Ford Mustang safety car does is bring Randall into that outright battle. So it closes the 4.5 second margin. He was behind John Bow in 3rd place. and draws him right to the back of this battle for the lead. The other interesting thing to note, and there was probably a small factor of Stephen Johnson managing his margin, but Bressington for the last 2 laps has been the fastest guy on the circuit and pegged that gap to car 17 back to just about 1 second. So there's a bit of pace in car number 95. I think the wild card, though, is the one swerving and warming his tyres up is Tom Randall, the young gun in Rusty French's Sky Sands Ford Mustang.
Bressington searching for a W next to his name. 4 second-place finishes already this year. Finished 3rd in last year's series, all fun the front row at Bathurst. 4 race victories, and really has been a great addition to the White Line Racing team. Great to see Bob Middleton back in the field as well. You're watching Tom Randall, another one of the great additions to this year's Touring Car Masters field, and Kylie King caught up with him earlier this weekend.
Well, here's a young driver I didn't expect to find in the Touring Car Masters paddock. Tom Randall, we usually see you in the Super 2. What's come about here to see you in this 1969 Mustang?
Yeah, hi Kylie. I didn't expect to be seeing you this weekend, but yeah, Rusty had the car entered, and about 2 weeks ago he sort of said to me, hey, would you like to run in it? And I really couldn't turn the offer down. So the last time I drove this was about 24, 25 months ago. So it's, yeah, looking forward to getting back behind the wheel of the 69 Mustang.
Obviously, there are some huge differences between this and a supercar. What's the biggest things that you notice straight away?
The biggest thing would be the braking, probably, Kylie. Really, to pull the car up requires a bit more effort, and the braking zones are a bit extended compared to the supercar. The other differences are actually on the left-hand side of the car in this car. Some of them are right-hand drive, but ours is left-hand drive. A bit more power with a smaller tyre and really no aerodynamics at all. I think probably the rear wing actually does the opposite of what we wanted to do, but yeah, they're probably the main differences.
And is it a case of you young guys just want to drive anything?
Exactly. I mean, at the moment it's really trying to see what I can get my hands on that's relevant to my aspirations in supercars. As you said, I'm running in the Super 2 series, but yeah, why not get some more seat time in a Mustang? And
a little bit different to what you're up to last weekend. Talk us through that.
Exactly. So last Friday I was in Tasmania doing the additional co-driver session in Lee Holdsworth's Bottle Mustang. So this is only 50 years older than that. So there's major differences. And another difference is that in Lee's car, you've got a sequential gearbox, and in this car it's a H pattern. So yeah, many differences.
A little bit of old school. Love it.
Exactly. I love it.
Busy man now behind the wheel of car number 4 as we go back to green flag racing. There he is on the right-hand side. The field fan out. Bressington tries the outside into turn number 1 here at Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. This is lap number 7, and you get the feeling we've got plenty more still to come in this race.
Johnson gets in front. Harris slots in behind Bressington. Where does young Tom Randall? He's got a bit of swagger about him, doesn't he? Great interview with Kylie King. The bright young prospects of our sport, looking down the inside of Harris at 3. Surely there's a move coming. The next corner, the right-hander after this big stop at turn 4. Well, Harris has got a bit on because he's trying to attack the VDC Camaro in front. Meanwhile, bit of hip and shoulder there for Ryan Hansford up the inside of Bruce Williams. The Tiranas getting stuck into each other. Jim Policina following them through.
Good move by Randall down the inside at Siberia of Ryle Harris. Expect the Tirana to do the same here. John Bowers, he does. Harris won't give in, he has to in the end. A single file through the right-hander, past the hayshed, and the climb to Lukey Heights. Randall on the charge. Fresher, who's your tyres on that number 4? Freestone still carrying that damage on the front of his 25. It's down the hill. Oh, Harris just backs it in at the top of Lukey, locks the front right, and now opens up the door. Here comes the Tirana trio, 3 wide out of turn 12.
Oh, hip and shoulder bump and run for all of the Tiranas through there. They were all sliding and backing their cars in. Bruce Williams had a massive moment at the top of Lukey Heights. Ryan Hansford was the same in the multi-spares car, and I think may have damage. And through all of that, Jeremy Gray's got 3 spots. Let's have a look at that again. So Harris cranked sideways, Bruce Williams behind the same. They're all struggling to get the thing stopped at the bottom of the right-hander. Hands going everywhere with steering lock. Jim Policina says, I'll have some of that, and hip and shoulders his way through. And Jeremy Gray will get a couple of free positions here as well.
Like some invisible ball bearings were chucked onto the track down there. Oh, that's heavier contact than we thought. From the Tiranas, they went scattering, and it opened the door for Gray. On the outside there in car 67, the big loser out of that one was Hansford. He drops back to 11th position. into turn 4.
Do you get the feeling that bragging rights for first Tirana after John Bowes pretty serious?
Pretty competitive, isn't
wow.
it?
And that right front corner of Bruce Williams' car has had more hits than Elvis this weekend. Battered and bruised. He's already replaced one guard after getting caught up in an incident earlier in the weekend.
You know, that was his line back in the day.
Yeah, sorry. Nothing original anymore.
Expect the invoice from later on. Dick Johnson on the right-hand side. Watching his boy out in front here, climbing around the back of the hay shed. Randall all over the back of Bressington in the closing stages. The final race of the Peter Dixon Touring Car Masters. Far from done here at the island.
That White Line Racing Camaro is hooked up and Adam is driving it exceptionally well. Third place in the championship last year. Before that, a Pro-Am class winner in the series. The last 2 years, it's been progressing every time. Gary O'Brien in pit lane. Looks like Melinda Price might be making a return to the category, driving that car in subsequent rounds, which is good to see. Here's this Tirana Cup. Jim Policina clear of it at the moment.
Your Tirana out there will be doing fine.
I don't think so. 1:41.18, new lap record for Adam Bressington. 95, he said it's got speed. There's proof on the timing monitor. And Tom Randall under the existing lap record, his own, set yesterday.
Great. Yeah, I thought the same. Policina's in there again. Is this a carbon copy of what we saw earlier in the race? It is, with a bit more to it than the first time. There's some feeling between the Capri and the Tirana now.
With catches like that, he should be playing cricket, Jeremy Gray. That's outstanding. He has been driving that car like a sprint car all day, more opposite lock than steering in the direction of the corner. Let's look at that again. This is Policina. Two cars with onboard cameras right in the thick of the action. Here's the nudge. Just continues on. He was out of the throttle, to his credit, after the initial bit of contact.
Great save nonetheless, for the second time at the same corner in this race. He's certainly brave to put it in positions on the outside, and off the track goes Randall. That's our third place man. He'll get back on the circuit, but that could end his chance of grabbing Bressington here for second.
Yeah, with a lap and a half to go, that might be the margin that Bressington needed to hold on to that spot. So we caught the end of what we can only imagine is a pretty wild moment in a race that's been filled with them. Here we go. So he drew alongside and was actually passed, but he was wide, he was off the line. And if you're a car width wide there, you're in the shale and then you're in the gravel and the grass, and you're having a 200km/h thrill ride until you can find the bitumen again and get the thing stopped and turned for Lukey Heights.
Did the side of the door as well there on the number 4. So, final lap, 2 cars under the previous lap record in the final race here today. Warm conditions for Phillip Island. Amazing weekend we've had so far. And Stephen Johnson prepares for another clean sweep in season 2019. The WM Waste Ford Mustang for Team Johnson has a 1.7 second advantage. Back to Bressington, back to Randall, John Bowe and Jim Policina, your top 5 on the final lap.
Exciting times, though, I think, for White Line Racing, because car 95 has never been better, and at every stage of this weekend, Adam Bressington has all but matched the driver behind the wheel of car 17, and that bodes well for the remainder of this championship. So while Johnson looks to make it 5 championship races in a row, Bressington is notching up a really impressive strike rate this season. He was second in races 1 and 2, third in race 3, a pair of seconds this weekend. Keep him very much in contention for the Painter-Dixon Touring Car Masters Series.
To the top of the hill for the final time. A brief safety car intervention during this race to stack the field up. We saw a bit more action, but it didn't really affect this guy. Out in front. He won all 3 points paying races in Adelaide. He went back-to-back in pole positions here on Friday. He's won the series twice and continues his stranglehold in season 2019. Stephen Johnson comes down to the final turn and down the Gardner Straight to pick up victory number 5 of the Painter-Dixon Touring Car Masters here at Phillip Island.
Gee, Randall came back to them quickly in the final lap, didn't he? 42.1. He was a second quicker than Bressington on that last lap. Drag race, so the battle that's waged since lap 1 decided in the favour of Jim Policina, who grabs 5th in front of Jeremy Gray. They might have a discussion after that race, I would suggest.
Perfect time to go in car and see if he pulls up for a chat.
Oh, there was some shaking of the head.
Absolutely.
For Stevie J, though, it was a case of ye and indeed heart this weekend, and he will now head very